What's poppin', y'all? Good love and peaceful vibrations. It is the Culture Cast. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing out there? I'd like to welcome everybody back to the show. First of all, big boss man himself, Brad Bailey in the building.
What up, fellas? What's going on, guys? What's going on?
All right, and then over here we have Sha Elemental.
Yes, sir.
And of course, y'all know this guy, the blind reviewer himself. He's just got his name up as a blind guy, but y'all know my man, Kevin Cooper. How you feeling, brother?
You don't know. I didn't know they showed the displays in the chat. My bad.
It's all good. And I'm your host, Jeff Strange. What's happening, y'all? First off, I just want to say today at work, I work at a certain place, and today I had the pleasure of meeting the ruler himself, Slick Rick.
Oh yeah,
Ricky D. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I
gave him his flowers right then and there, and I was like, "Come on, bro, you see the great beard. You know I know your stuff." I said, I was rocking with y'all since the Kango crew. So he was like, "Oh, word." I was like, "I live in Brooklyn, but I got a couple of ass whoopings, sneaking in the Harlem world." So
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
Fun fact and a somewhat related thing. A couple of years ago, like 20 years ago, Dougie Fresh used to be down here like every other month. And I actually got to meet him and build with him and actually rhyme to him beatboxing.
Wow.
So that's like bucket list shit. And like I can say, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But like I still envy over the Slick Rick thing because one of those two I'd take Slick Rick for obvious reasons. But front on what Dougie Fresh contributed to the culture and like Lottie Dottie.
Oh yeah.
It's the most sampled song ever made, isn't it? Lottie Dottie. It's been sampled over 1,000 times or something like that.
One of them.
Yeah, I mean, Snoop remixed it and made it his own.
Yeah.
Sure. And how many times has Slick Rick been the influence of these at least the golden age of hip hop?
Jordan sampled him.
Yeah.
This is how we do it. Was that Children's Story? I think this.
Yeah. And like Montel Jordan even like rhymed in his cadence. I thought Montel Jordan was from England. He was like, once upon a time in 95.
He was from LA.
He was from South Central.
Yeah. Redman counts him as an influence. Snoop counts him as an influence. I mean, come on.
Good storyteller would. You know what I mean?
Definitely. He's made records with Outkast.
Yeah. I love that. Yo, that album's dope too.
Yeah.
Storytelling?
Yeah.
It's a good album. That song Nas was ill, a song of Outkast, like you said.
So I mean, I just saw him and like he said, "Yo, you want a picture?" I said, unfortunately in my profession that's not allowed, but I was just glad to meet you and shake your hand, brother. That was enough for me.
That's the thing nowadays. People don't realize is a good handshake is worth it too. You don't have to taking pictures and getting everything signed, and especially now they don't even want to sign shit because people are always selling it.
Yeah, anyway. and that's the main thing that's been happening at same said place of business. Billy Joel was there, and Billy walked out like, "Hi, everybody, Mr. Joel," and he was like, "Bye, everybody," right in the car and out.
It's like, I don't think so.
Yeah, because he knows. I mean, they had his record. They had, look, I got a piano man. He's like, "Oh, good for you."
There will be people that'll buy airline tickets just to get past the gates and for certain celebrities to get their autograph to sell online. So it must be a lucrative business because if you're buying tickets and not even getting a refund on that shit,
yeah,
I mean, damn.
Because I mean, earlier, just to even stay on this subject, earlier in the year when Drake came, to do the show at the Apollo, fans are sitting outside the dead of winter waiting on this man. And I'm sitting there like, one lady even said, like, I heard Drake's not a nice man. Yet you're out here risking your health for him.
Exactly.
Does that make sense to you?
They did the same for the Beatles. So.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, whatever, and with companies like what CGC and there's there's so many other companies that'll like legitimize, your autograph and everything else. I mean, I have myself like 4 copies of the first season of Spawn, written autographed by Todd McFarlane.
Oh, dope. I got the first to Spawn. It ain't autographed, but that's dope.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I mean, that whole season with Spawn was just dope anyway. With Keith David as the voice. So I'm like,
oh, that. Okay, yeah. That's dope.
So I mean, those are not going nowhere. That's retirement. Don't want to work no more money.
I got those on VHS and DVD.
Wow. Yeah,
I mean,
mess with some kids right now. They're like, what do we do with this videotape? On.
Okay, so it's talking about all that. It's like, okay, so I don't know if any of y'all are Friday the 13th, but part 7, which is
that's my favorite one. Best
right? And Kane Hodder, I cannot believe I actually now know Kane Hodder and Tom Savini, like they're friends with, like at the time, when he took over the role as Jason and part 7 came out, I had gotten a test print, a bootleg, and I had no idea at the time that it was the unedited version with a lot of the violence that they basically cut out now.
Yeah.
In it, and it's like I ended up buying that tape from the video store dude, and I lost it. And it's like Paramount would probably $1 billion for that tape.
Mm-hmm.
It's like hindsight's 2020, and it's like, you didn't know. Okay, there were no other versions of it, but it's like, I think keeping certain things in history is more important than making a quick buck out of it.
Definitely.
It's like I'm holding on to these autographs from all these people even after they die. I'm going to like frame them and shit.
Oh yeah, but yeah, like that whole autograph thing is a big business. I mean, there was even like I as far as like taking like cars like Uber and stuff like that, I've been rocking recently with Revel, REVEL. And the driver said, he said, "Oh, you work over here? Yeah, we come up here for autographs all the time." And lo and behold, when Billy Joel was there, I saw him. I'm like, he explained how everything goes. He said, "Dude, I scan, I save." He said, "I even laminated, put it under wax." And I was like, "Damn."
And like, I don't even think like that. And like, I advise anybody who has a mentality, like, be a fan. Like everybody's
celebrities, you can just send them pictures to a certain address and they'll sign it and send it back to you. My boy's gotten me a couple like of John Carpenter and some other PJ Souls and Kane Hodder. I actually met him and got an autograph from him, but like you can actually send stuff and pull autograph and send it back to you, surprisingly.
Hey, Sha, isn't he a lot shorter than you thought he would be?
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I met him when I was younger in like high school at first before I hit my growth spurt. And then I met him a couple years ago again. And I was like, oh, I'm like, he's a lot shorter than I thought because in my mind, my memory of him, when I was younger. So he was a bigger dude. And then obviously in the movies, they make him look, as big as they can considering, but it was crazy. I was like, man, I'm bigger than this dude.
Yeah. That's that Hollywood 6 foot, which you're actually like 5'8".
Those angles, shooting up, make you look 7 feet tall.
I said, can I take a picture of you choking me out, the whole Jason thing? And he said, no, because people started suing him, talking about when he picked them up, they started getting back injuries and shit, like trying to come up on a dude who had money and shit. So like he was like, no, like my lawyers just said like I have to just take pictures standing up, like I can't do shenanigans anymore.
That's crazy.
He's like, you couldn't even see my face in the movie. You think I made that much? Yeah.
Right. People will sue over anything also, and that's crazy.
Oh yeah.
And they have proof that he put hands on them, so they can't say he didn't touch them. Exactly. It's like we have a picture of him putting his hands on us. So as soon as he touched me, I got hurt. here you go, boom. And they do it that way. It's amazing. You have to think like that too. Every time you do something, you have to think 5 steps ahead. What would anyone else do in this situation? But,
and it's so sad that things like this happen. But let's shift the gears a little bit and talk about these movie trailers that have been coming out. Like, yo,
Ooh,
there's so much.
man, I'm looking for DC to come back on this Flash movie.
yo, it looks fire.
It
And
does.
everybody that's seen it said it's dope. So that could be dope. But you never know until you see it yourself.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, like, Ezra Miller has been in trouble a lot lately. Like he can't control his alcohol and a couple other things. Like he hit a girl or something like that.
Yep. Choked her out on camera.
Bar, I believe it was.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. He's
Not too crazy, but
certain people haven't dropped him.
who's gonna have done it.
Yeah, they ain't dropped him, but Marvel was like, yeah, the girl apologized, and then something else happened, and like, okay, yeah, he's not Kang no more. I'm like, oh god, okay, here we go.
Is that official though? Did Marvel announce it, or is this one of
No,
those?
it's one of those rumors around it because I've seen nothing official.
It's like one of these we got this covered.com type of stories.
Yeah, but I did hear that his agent did drop him.
Yeah, his whole management team dropped him.
Yeah.
The whole entire team dropped him. That's kind of scary when you think about it because those are the people that are closest to you in the business. And them to drop you first. And that's like they know something that they're not telling.
That's what I was gonna say.
Possible, yeah. Good thing it's a multiverse.
Exactly, but they kind of put all their eggs in one basket with the Ant-Man end credit scene, making every single Kang look exactly like him. How do you work around that now? Because they let Marvel, they kind of like to shoot themselves in the foot sometimes.
Many times.
And
I've got a book over here on my shelf called The Death of Wolverine. Wolverine ain't dead. You know what I mean? There's always a way.
There's a way, but to recast him right now, because they have to do it fast. They have to get it fast. They have to like reshoot Loki scenes if they want to really kind of change their direction. They're really going to have to. So how do they do that though? How do they make that change with just
probably the same way they did with Terrence Howard? Just do it and
just do it, not talk about it,
and just be like, yeah, this is what we're doing.
Yeah. Like, or they'll do like, speaking of another disgraced actor, when when Aunt Viv became light skinned, and they said like, Aunt Viv, you look different.
Right.
Yeah. Just like the Hulk joke. In the recent was it She-Hulk?
Yeah.
Like he's like, I'm a different guy, or I'm a different person since last time you saw me. Because he's literally a different person. It's
a weird situation that how they handle it too with Ezra and Jonathan Majors, because Ezra is like accused of some really dirty shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, and a bunch of other shit.
24 years old maybe now.
Yeah, something like that. 26, something like that.
So they play a role slightly, but
it's a crazy how they handle the different situations when they're almost equally the same. Actually, Jonathan Majors really didn't do anything that bad, allegedly, compared to Ezra, allegedly.
Yeah. And this is my thing, right? That terrifies the shit out of me as a black man. That you can build your entire career and reputation over years, even decades, to just have it all come crashing down because one side decides to start crying. Like Karen tears are worse than sulfuric. And the thing is, this goes back to the days of Emmett Till and all types of shit, is where, I don't want to get racial, but you cannot avoid the damn woolly mammoth in the room that is race in this issue, which is the fact that, like you said, Ezra Miller is doing way worse shit And this dude hasn't been basically convicted yet, right? Basically saying he's being accused of certain things. Homegirl retracted her statement, said she was coached by the police, but the damage has been done. Even if he's been exonerated, everything, his name is toast. He's done. He's tarnished. That's not something. And we're supposed to be free. We're free.
And just to even add to that, a friend of mine, my man Spivey994 from the Eggheads universe, which I'm a member, he just sent me a text from the home of DCU, and it's James Gunn on if Ezra Miller will continue playing Flash in the DCU. And he basically saying, I mean, we don't know. We gotta see how this goes. We're just gonna have to wait and see. That's the most BS.
If it makes $1 billion, he's gonna be.
People see him back as the character after this movie. That's going to be the question.
Right. But if it makes $1 billion, he'll be back. That's without
question.
They were going to get my money most likely at some point along the line. So
I'm thinking about going to see that one actually in theaters. I want to see.
It's got my two favorite Batman. How can I not go?
Bam. Thank you, Shaw, because I was getting ready to say that I'm going to see my man Michael Keaton. I'm like, whoa. And just like to see him in there, he got the hair, and you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Channeling Beetlejuice in that moment in Batman.
And I also heard
a lot of reviews are saying that it's mostly like he's in a lot of the movie too. Like it's like the co-lead. So that's good. That's good that hopefully, it'll actually work out well. And we expect a lot from these movies nowadays. And I think our expectations are never met.
And also, what I'm hearing is there's a Beetlejuice 2 in the works because of this movie.
I did see that.
Wait,
I was like, wow.
This movie,
that
part.
And I mean, just to even add to this, like, you see the parallel what's going on. Like Marvel hit, a little snag, and they're starting to go down. Now here's this movie trying to take DC up. So this whole checks and balance thing that's going on. I'm like, okay,
but it's a Marvel thing. They got so much stuff that could be a few things. It's intimidating to get into Marvel now because of the amount of things you need to know to really know even what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, there's just so much of it that people might be a little bit burned out on it as well, even if you are caught up to date. And then DC, it's almost like people are starved for good DC content.
Yeah.
Because of really just studio interference. So that's what it boils all down to.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff that we got could have been a lot better if they just let the director do their thing.
And that's the thing of it's always the corporate versus the creative. They see money, but let me see my vision. As Kevin would say, let me see my vision.
Yep.
And I think it's another thing too we're going to see too with video game movies.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be that battle of, are we going to treat these like, all right, this works? Or are we going to, we have to change everything? And like, it's going to be like that first G.I. Joe movie where like, you're like, where's Cobra Commander? Where's, that's Destro? Oh, okay. I mean, like, it was just missing everything that made it G.I. Joe.
What'd you do to my show? That's what it is. Like, what'd you do to my childhood? Why'd you change it all?
Yeah.
What happened here? That's really what they did. They do it. You're right, because it's all about the money. They want to make as much money possible. They put all tons of money into marketing and focus groups and all this other shit. And who are they talking to though in these focus groups? Are they actually talking to real?
Not us. They're not talking to fans like us.
Exactly. They're talking to just people on the streets that have no idea. Like the same people that you ask who's the first president of the United States and they say Lincoln. Those are that we're talking
They're behind the curve almost. That's why, like, you remember, like, when Lord of the Rings blew up, it was like, all of a sudden you had like 40 different fantasy franchises. And stuff. And it was like, here we go. Like, all right, Chronicles of Narnia. You're like, all right, I remember those books.
Mm-hmm.
Kid, that's acceptable.
And the other thing,
like, what? Like,
Yeah. The other thing that kills me is when these same people, this is their first movie about this, and all of a sudden they're experts now.
Mm. Yep.
And I'm like, dude, this goes way beyond, you know.
And that's a big issue too, I think, with a lot of like critics and also
Yeah.
people expectations going into certain things, right? So
Yeah.
it, like, say the idea of a Marvel movie, right? In Marvel Comics, you have all different types of different genres of comics. You know what I mean? So there's kind of something for everybody, in different tones and different
Mhm.
deliveries and different art styles and everything. And really, that's kind of how the movies and shows are too. But some people kind of latch on to whatever their certain favorite style of that is and expect everything else to fit underneath that umbrella, when really it's supposed to be over here being its own thing, kind of. And
Yeah.
it's like, all right, I might like, Deadpool, but I might not like Deathlock. You know what I mean? Or like
Yeah.
Adam Warlock or whoever, you know what I mean? Some more obscure character that has a different tone and a different, like, angle on everything. So it's like, it's all about perspective, a lot of it.
Yeah. And I think that's the reason why this movie might actually win for DC, because it's basically the Flashpoint adventure,
Yeah.
rewrapped, because this is actually older Bruce Wayne, and I'm really hoping for a Batman Beyond movie out of this.
Oh, man. We can only hope. And if not from this, just give us one at some point, because that's a great story.
Yeah.
I was actually hoping they were going to do another Arkham game, but have it be Batman Beyond. That would have been. But
Can't do that no more.
did he?
No more Conroy.
There was another thing I was thinking about, the Transformers.
Yo, big
Ooh.
Unicron in there. I'm looking at Unicron. I got him on my shelf over there. But yo, just seeing that as a fan of the '86 movie, I was like,
Man.
even though I don't like Beast Wars, so I'm a little like, about that part. But once they said Unicron, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm in.
I did not know this.
Oh yeah.
I retract everything I was saying bad about this movie, because
It's probably gonna be bad. You don't have to do that.
I'm not a fan of Beast Wars.
Not me either. But the '86 movie is like,
Yeah.
one of the greatest animated movies ever.
Ever.
Ninja Scroll, Kira. I don't know. There's many more, and obviously I'm exaggerating and just being an '80s kid, but
no, you're not.
No.
Is anyone connected to Michael Bay?
Hey, watch your mouth.
I asked if the new one's connected to Michael Bay. Is he producing it? Or does he have
It's
anything
like
to do
part
with
of the rebooted Bumblebee universe, or
Oh,
whatever,
okay.
which
All
is like kind of a quasi reboot, not really a full on reboot, from what it seems.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
I've
looks
seen the
same.
trailers for it. It looks like a Transformers movie.
What I
it's like
heard of,
fun.
it has G1 Grimlock in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks like some of the character models a little bit more G1 looking, which is good because that's kind of what we wanted from the beginning.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah, they went too wild with the stylization of the characters in the first movies. I think I didn't like the original Transformer movies because of Shia. I'm not a big fan.
Shia's fan.
I'm not a fan at all, and so I was like, it's hard to watch for me. It was very hard to watch. You're a Shia fan?
I am now. I never was until his crazy antics, and then like a couple, like newer like serious movies he did. When I was like, oh, I had this guy. This guy like can really act, but he's like a straight
I
up.
saw one movie with him, Peanut Butter Falcon. I saw that.
Wow.
That
What's the movie with the tank? With Brad Pitt.
Oh,
Fury.
Fury. Yeah, I saw Fury.
Fury.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
He was good in that. John Bernthal, who's back as the Punisher. Can't wait to see what they do with that.
Yes.
Interesting.
That's a good move. That's a good move by Disney, bringing back Charlie Cox and John Bernthal. Really?
I mean,
Oh,
and D'Onofrio. All three of them, like that's perfect casting. You can't. You
Yeah,
have to.
I
Yeah.
want
mess it up.
I mean, I'm just wondering, like, are they going to continue off from the Netflix series?
Yeah, I'm curious about that too. But it seems like they might go courtroom drama a little bit with the Daredevil series, from what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
It may have a completely different tone to it potentially.
yeah, because that little glimpse of him and She-Hulk, which
Yeah, that makes me think they may definitely go that more comedic route. But you
and
know,
I really wish they would just keep it serious.
else
no, like,
like half and half. One gritty street, and then the other half like funny courtroom stuff.
it
Yeah.
was fun when he almost died a few times and freaking night nurse had to save him.
Yes,
All that shit was for like they need to bring everybody. If they're gonna do it, they need to bring everybody back into the fold, including
yes,
Iron Fist. I hate to say it, but like recast him maybe.
definitely recast him. I mean, there's so many other good actors that could do that part.
I can't even think of his name right now.
I'm Danny Rand.
Yeah, he was so stiff.
Hmm.
And his movements are so telegraphed and slow. I'm like, it was like the same girl was in what's her name? Juicy Smollet's sister. That was in
in Birds of Prey.
Yeah. It's like she's not a fighter. I'm like, come on.
No, I like that movie kind of. Just I accept its wackiness. I like Ewan McGregor in his just over the top take on Black Mask because it's batshit crazy.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, she was watching her in fight scenes. I was just like she would have just bounced off that dude and like fallen on the ground right now, just because like she's so tiny. It's not to be sexist, but like
Yeah, it's true. And I'm like,
physics still count somewhere.
Take a couple of combat classes, at least because like when you think of Black Canary, she is the one chick that I expect her to actually succeed in knocking Batman out.
Yep.
Like, we know Wonder Woman can do it, but Wonder Woman's the demigoddess. Like, as far as like street level heroes, I'm like, yeah, don't even Green Arrow doesn't go up against his lady. He's like, nah, son.
He knows better.
Yeah, I'll take the L on that one.
Our suspension of disbelief is supposed to be. We're supposed to believe every little thing that we see on screen right now.
Sorry.
And everybody's a hero. Everybody can do the job, and it's kind of like what there has to be rules to the genres of these movies. There has to be rules to the way they're being made. You know what I mean? There has to be a set because it's the stuff that we grew up on, and we're the ones paying for tickets. We're the ones paying for streaming services, and we expect a certain product. And a lot of the times, we're not given the product that we're expecting.
So here you go with your expectations again.
Exactly. But like we'd say at work, when you walk in, expect the worst day possible.
Definitely.
If not, you're going to have a bad day if you're not expecting the worst.
It's a balancing act, right? Because you want to stay true and you want to say, okay, am I pissed off because they're not delivering what I need as a fan, or am I, forgive the pun, blinded by nostalgia? Like there's a huge difference between fan service and actually, like, for example, Last of Us. They did fan service, but they also did a bunch of improvements that apply to being a TV show. So, I think they are the examples of walking that thin line really, really like a damn acrobat in a circus high up. And
you couldn't do. I mean, if you played that game, you think about all the times you were like in shootouts and stuff like that. You couldn't put all that into a season of TV.
No.
So it was good that they, knowing they can't do that, took things in the story that they alluded to in the games through notes and things like that you find. Yep. And then actually showed you and expanded upon those stories to make it, more episodic and, show you more of the world and build that up.
Definitely.
It was a nice way of doing it.
Now that they've had success in one video game movie and one video game television show, they're gonna go nuts.
Oh, we got
yeah.
They're
metal.
gonna get hit with so much shit now. It's gonna be ridiculous.
Oh, I can't wait. It's gonna be crazy.
Oh, we're
So,
gonna have Metal Gear.
Joe-
We're gonna have a Metal Gear Solid television show. Watch. It's gonna go nuts. They're gonna take every franchise. Ninja Gaiden. Watch. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. We're gonna have a show.
Yeah.
They're gonna take every main franchise that was huge when we were kids, and they're gonna turn it into something.
Frogger. Summer.
As long as one of the Paul brothers does not play Solid Snake,
Ah,
okay. Because if that happens, and I swear to on everything, I better not put that in the universe for one day to just one of them come out.
You know, working on Mass Effect, and I hope they don't fuck that up. I really do.
Ooh,
Oh, that'll be dope if they do it right.
Like
definitely.
They like it can't be some cheap ass. Like each episode needs to look like a movie in order to do the series justice.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
mean,
I felt
know-
those found like a nice niche in between Star Trek and Star Wars. It was like
Yeah.
an in between for those.
took the
Great.
words right out of my mouth. Yeah.
boom. But like, also, who's gonna play Shepard would be important, and would it be them emulating the Shepard story, or would it be something new in the Mass Effect universe?
You got to do Shepard out the gate. I think.
Yeah.
But which
I
one,
was gonna
or male Shepard? That's the other question.
Do 3D glasses. They'll give them out. Be like, which one you want?
say-
Give you. That's what you'll see.
Like they say, Shepard is whoever you identify as.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a crab, and then it'll be a crab.
Question: I'm a couple of friends at work was arguing about this. Was there a Halo movie?
There was.
A show.
Okay.
It was like on Showtime or Epix or something like that. But I heard it's really bad.
Ugh.
Like Master was lost his virginity on the show or something. I don't know.
Okay.
And a bunch of incels lost their mind about that. I'm sure. They were like, no, our hero.
That's the thing. I don't, when people become so invested, they rage quit, and just like, dude, come on. Like I mean, like when I remember when talking about anime, Crying Freeman was my thing for a long time.
Yeah.
And how many times they tried to make that movie. I mean, I know they did one with Mark Dacascos, and I still remember they tried to do Fist of the North Star with these fake Goku looking dudes.
Yep, they had the hair.
And the dude he did the whole 100 punch thing, but he was like, I was like, dude, were you typing in a code? Like, what is that? Like, it just looked weird. And I was like, it makes me think of like, in the 70s, the Spider-Man TV show when he had the whole big utility belt and one web shooter.
It was so corny. You know what I love though is the Japanese Spider-Man show from the 70s.
That's hilarious.
Hilarious. Love it. Absolutely love that.
It's like, and even
I don't know.
like
He's got
even
the Megazord.
Mhm. That was great. I thought that was like, okay, that was a definite good cross right there between the Power Rangers crowd and fans of Spider-Man. Well, we lost Brad for a minute. He's got the spinning circle of death.
He's probably like, the Japanese Spider-Man show? I gotta go. Right now.
It's that boat. It's kind of pissing me off that I did. But like, it would have been interesting to see that because like I was like, I heard about it. Somebody's like, "Do you want me to make a copy for you?" And I was very, very hesitant at the time, but I had no idea I was going to find. It was like shit. So it's like lesson in life: if you have an opportunity, don't assume you have the future to do it again.
It's true,
Got that
especially.
right. I ain't hear what you said, Sean.
I was saying, especially if it's free. Don't
Oh
pass
yeah.
that.
Yeah, exactly. I just was very closed off at the time.
Well, it's good to see you opened up.
Yeah, ironically.
What other new trailers has been out? I mean, Equalizer 3 looks crazy as well.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but I also was like, I'm definitely gonna watch that, so I kind of don't want to see the trailer because they always ruin the trailers. New Kong and Godzilla
Yes.
went out, and it looks like some new monster they'll be probably teaming up to take out. It looks like, most likely, just based on the illusion that was presented.
Oh, and then he's back. All right.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah.
New Indiana Jones coming.
What happened?
Oh, we're talking about movies, previews we just saw.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah.
New Indiana Jones looks dope because I mean,
Yeah.
Indy.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, Brad's boy Shia LaBeouf won't be in this one.
Oh, thank God, man. They ruined that last one.
And you leave Mike Williams alone.
They ruined that shit, bro. They ruined that movie. They almost killed the franchise with that movie.
Funny story for you. So I introduced my girl to those movies, and we watched them in order, right? And after we're done, she's like, "Yeah, I kind of feel like they got better as they went on." And I was just like,
Wow.
"What?" Well, I was like, the first three are amazing, but the fourth one was, it was an Indiana Jones movie.
Was it though? Was it
Oh.
Indiana Jones movie?
Oh,
I mean, he rode in a refrigerator, so
I was waiting for somebody to bring that up.
I mean, come on, that's classic. That would have actually, funny story about that scene is that would have been in one of the earlier movies. I can't remember which one.
Yeah.
They couldn't figure out how to like film it. So when they made that one, they're like, all right, well, we got CGI and stuff. We can definitely do it now. And that's how it ended up in that movie.
Those old lead line fridges, man, they're gonna save us.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh God.
Them, the old school tubs with the claw feet.
And does anybody remember Ricky Brewster when Sherry hid in the refrigerator
Yeah.
when they were playing hide and seek and she got stuck because she couldn't get out?
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's all dramatic, and then
That was a very special episode.
there was a few when she ordered the tea set, but she got the remote control car and was ripping it up on all of a sudden the remote control car track that was all ill in her backyard that was never there before or after that episode.
Right.
Mhm.
Oh, so many great things. When she ran away, ended up in the junkyard with some homeless people. Good old Punky Bruce memory.
They had a cartoon and the actual real life thing going at the same
Yeah.
time. And I'm like, I don't think anybody's done that since.
Wait, for Punky Brewster, they had a cartoon too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a Punky Brewster.
I didn't even know about that. Damn.
Yeah.
All the same actors that did the voices.
Yeah. But it got expensive after a while. Like if anybody remembers the Gary Coleman had a cartoon.
No, that I didn't know.
Yeah. There was a Kid and Play cartoon too.
I remember that one.
Remember Hammerman?
Oh.
Definitely remember that.
Ooh.
And what was the All Stars one? It was like Wayne Gretzky, Michael Jordan, and Bo Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Bo, Michael Gretzky. I think Larry Bird was there in it too for a minute. But the Hulk Hogan, the wrestlers cartoon that they made, they capitalized on everything. They capitalized on
Get the 21-inch pythons, brother.
24. All right.
Okay. See, mine I think are 19. I don't know. Anyway, but speaking of bad ideas, Fast X.
Oh Jesus.
I'll watch out of morbid curiosity and enjoy it for what it is, but I'm not going to walk into that expecting Citizen Kane.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just be like, all right, I'm expecting a really dumb movie because like 8 movies ago they jumped the shark to me. So
yeah,
like,
I mean,
actually make that 7. Tokyo Drift was kind of dumb, but
okay. It's like what was the one in Brazil? That was a great one, and like I think, what was this last one with dedicated to Paul? I was like,
family, some shit.
Yeah.
One was probably
through the last one.
I mean, now that it's public knowledge that Vin Diesel and
Dwayne,
they're not gonna get along. So you bring in Aquaman.
Yeah, that shit, it looks so cheesy.
Yeah, and I'm just sitting there like, come on.
It's like extra sharp cheddar cheese. Like
And I'm like,
Stinky Gouda.
like there's somebody else. I mean, because like even the last one when with John Cena, I'm like, okay, you don't want The Rock no more, so you got John Cena.
Yo, Batista's next. He's coming.
And-
Big Dave is coming.
They probably actually offered him the part that Momoa is playing, and he probably turned it down. Most
I
likely.
think Stallone come in and just kill them all. They'll be like, Rambo's here. It's over.
Yo, I just saw
Crossover event we've all been waiting for.
yo
Rambo,
Toretto.
fast.
Yo Toretto, I don't think you ought to do that. You know, family's everything on my side of the family too. You know what I mean?
That's a good impression, bro.
You know, I'm just saying. You know, family's everything. What?
One movie I'm interested in. I really am interested in that Craven movie.
Yes.
Well,
That character needed to be
That one out.
Spider-Man has to be involved in it somehow. I don't see how you do Craven with no Spider-Man.
like, hey, we got a Venom movie without Spider-Man.
Make everything without everybody.
But
So,
was it that good? It
No,
was more okay than
no,
anything.
but we expectations, man. Expectations. That's what we
I
got.
had none, so you know,
Right.
I expected shit. It gave me okay, so I got that happened twice with those movies, and then they teased us with the after credits thing, only to find out that no, just kidding, he went back.
Right.
So
We're gonna drop a little. He's gonna drop a little goo here. Here you go.
but who's going to be the Venom in this universe? Then you think in the MCU?
That's a tough call. Like, who can do it? Who can actually do it? Who can play?
Channing Tatum.
If
Channing-
it's gonna be Eddie Brock, who can play Eddie Brock and Venom at the
It's gonna
same
be
time?
Meathead.
it's not gonna be Toby.
Right.
Nope.
Thank God. That's terrible, too.
Oh God.
That was one of the worst movies ever.
That was like, damn. I mean, when I saw that movie, I was looking forward to seeing Batman 66
You talk
all over again.
Topher Grace.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
Oh,
Topher Grace.
Yeah, he was not miscast big time in that.
Hmm.
He was good in Predators though, as the creepy doctor dude that you didn't know was a rapey kind of.
Right. You couldn't even see it.
Yeah.
You couldn't really see it coming until like right before it came.
And then he got all like
Yeah, exactly.
crazy. I was like, oh okay,
You thought he was the night.
Stormy's back. All right.
Yo, anybody remember the Cartoon All Stars PSA? I mean, this is like, I think post Schoolhouse Rock.
So it'd be like late 70s, early 80s time. Probably.
Yeah. I think about the time when like Hammerman and those cartoons came on. And,
Who was- Like Captain Caveman or whatever. Was he one of them?
I think so.
It was like Hanna-Barbera cartoon guys.
Mm-hmm.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Because like, I mean, I just think about like, I remember it's online somewhere too, around the 70s when weed was like the new thing. There was a anti-drug PSA that had the whole sound effects like Scooby-Doo and everything, that same sound. And I actually I found it, I sampled it and made a beat out of it. But it's like some old crazy funk, like what the hell? But it was dope.
That's it.
And you just see you could just if I ever find it again, I'm gonna send it, I'm gonna put it in the group so you can see it and like
Careful, I might steal it.
hey, by all means. I mean, I did two versions of it. I did one on Fruity Loops and the other one I did on my Koala sampler. I have yet to put it on the MPC, but that's coming.
Okay. Dope.
There's so many things that's just running through my head at this point in time. Like there was no, go ahead. What?
All the movie.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yes, thank you.
Can't wait.
Now, I'm looking forward to this one for a few reasons. I'm curious as to how they wrap up this Gamora thing that quickly in one movie. And then obviously, Rocket's backstory should be find out what's going on there, because that seems to be the big thing the whole movie is based around.
Because I mean, outside of him and Vin just saying "I am Groot" for the whole movie, there's so many other things. Like I think there's like a new pop funk I saw, Baby Rocket now.
Makes sense, because I think they're gonna have a flashback and
They do.
show you like his whole backstory now, which would be cool to see like how that came about.
And I really wish they would do something more with Mantis, because Mantis was like, she was like a martial arts badass, wasn't she?
Yeah, I believe she was pretty good at kicking ass, but she also had the mental abilities that obviously helped too. So, I mean, from what I'm hearing, what I've read anyway, I should say, this might not be the end of the series, but the end of this team. Right. So maybe Mantis carries on since she's so new to the story, and you might have a couple holdovers from this team that go on to the next version of the team. Because really, in the comics, this isn't the original team.
Yeah, I was gonna say Charlie 27, Yondu, Martinex, Vance Astro.
Yep, all those guys from part 2 that were with Stallone's character. Yeah. Those were that's why in the after credits of that, those guys were like, all right, Guardians were back together, because that was that team. So technically we could be seeing a whole new team that they may, start in the comics as well.
And Starhawk, the one who knows all.
Definitely got to be a good movie. Hopefully they wrap it up right.
I mean, based on what we've seen so far, I don't see how it couldn't be.
Now, the thing I'm trying to find is, being that James Gunn is now a DC executive now, does he still have anything to do with these last few Guardians, movies?
I doubt it. I think he's pretty much done with them for now. I actually saw something today. He did an interview, and they had asked him, like, did he approve of what they did with the Guardians of the Galaxy characters in Endgame and Infinity War, and he was like, I guess he didn't approve of how Star-Lord punched Thanos and screwed everything up, and he was like, he wouldn't do that or something like that. He's like, not the character writing or whatever.
Yeah, and it made him look all sucker for love and everything.
Yeah, I think now that he's talking a little more freely, he's got the DC gig. I think it's pretty much that's it for now anyway. But you never know down the line. Anything can happen. I mean, did we really think we were getting the Snyder Cut as much as they denied it existed for as long as they did? You know what I mean? So could go either way.
Yeah, I mean, lately I've been coming across all these videos about, the Grand Trey Lawrence era when, in the 60s, where we got, the Marvel superheroes, and then later on Spider-Man. There was, because of the limited budget, they got that version of the Marvel superheroes were basically just lifted the art right out of the comic books and just slightly animated. That's why you got all that stiff animation and things like that. Now with Spider-Man, it became different because they got a bigger budget. But by season 3, they were just more or less like, look, just crank those out. We just need this. We just need that. And I'm like,
a lot of cartoons in the 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, even into the 90s a little bit too. You see that with like Masters of the Universe. Filmation did a lot of that art stuff. A lot of repeat stuff in that. Thundercats, G.I. Joe, Transformers, all that stuff.
Remember the Fantastic Four cartoon where we got Herbie?
Yep.
And we got Herbie instead of the Human Torch, and it was all legal stuff because Marvel sold the character off to somebody else and they couldn't get the rights back in time to do this. And I was like, who the hell is Herbie? It's like,
it's your boy. What do you mean?
Why would they even do it without the rights to every character if they're going to make that? That's crazy. I get they want to make money, but it's like that's what kills people's expectations. If we go back to that's what kills everyone's expectations.
If it's not broke, don't fix it. Why are you changing it?
Exactly.
Yeah. Because I remember I hated that when it came out. I hated that cartoon when it came out. Look at this Herbie. I was like,
That's
what can he do? What, was he the butler?
Do you remember the two Ghostbusters cartoons? You had
Yeah.
the real Ghostbusters,
Yo.
which was like the one that went with the movies we knew as kids,
Hmm.
and then there was the Ghostbusters, which was based on that '60s show that we had no idea there was even a thing, but they made a cartoon out of it just to
Yeah.
capitalize on the Ghostbusters movies.
Mhm.
Company shady, they'll do anything. Just
On
to,
some real shit,
What?
if you want to laugh more than you've ever laughed in years, smoke up and go on YouTube. The entire OG is on, like the entire first and second season. The dialogue alone, like I can't even imagine how bad the animation is, but like I went through the entire first season and I was fucking dying. Like it didn't age well, to say the least, and it was bad.
No.
oh man,
Like
there's
Yeah.
a lot that didn't age well. Look at all those old WB cartoons and all the offensive stuff that's in it. Crazy. Almost every Asian character is some sort of like trope.
Mhm.
so chauvinistic.
Yeah. It's like even like the late 60s, you know, when they had, you know, Marvel superheroes and they had the Superman Aquaman hour, and they couldn't show Batman because Batman rights was over here, and they had to do a whole separate Batman animation with Filmation, because they did a lot of these things back then too. Where you got the, you know, the Teen Titans, those few episodes of Teen Titans, Atom, Justice League, you know, Hawkman, man. And it was like, so the whole thing behind the scenes that's unravels today now, because now it's like comic book lore. You know, this person didn't like this one, they just didn't want this, and you know, it's like the same kind of politics we hear about Hollywood today is now the same thing that killed these cartoons back then.
Yeah. Well, the smart thing to do, though, honestly, is just keep doing what works, tweak it for whatever medium it's in to make it fit that medium, and you pretty much got a winner on your hands. It's just a matter of, you know,
Yeah.
doing it the right way. Because I mean, you can. Me personally, if I'm an executive, I would look at it like, all right, in the comic book world, who are the big sellers? All right, so if I'm making movies, those are probably the movies that would end up being the big sellers as well.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't necessarily, like, you know, certain companies have done where they dig to the bottom of the barrel to find weird, obscure characters that nobody's heard of and do a movie about them. You may want to start establishing the bigger characters first.
Yeah.
And maybe do some of those other characters for TV shows to fill out the universe and things like that. Make them not required television to go along with the movies, but make them something you can, if you have the time, that can add to what you're already watching.
Right.
In the main universe. They don't do that enough. It's all, I mean, Marvel does a better job, I would say.
Yeah, because it seems like now that's the thing, like whatever's shown in the movies, they'll try to reflect in the comic books now to try to attract that movie audience to comic books. But that movie audience, that's all they know is the movie. So then they're going to gravitate to the comic books.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh, I already saw this in the movie. Well, I don't want to see it over here. But,
yeah, and if they do, you know, get the, you know, the comic books, they'll look at like 1 or 2 issues just to refresh themselves so they can go back and be on somebody's podcast like, oh, I'm an expert.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm like, all right, tell me about the Age of Apocalypse and go.
Basically.
What?
I saw that X-Men movie. That one kind of sucked too.
No, that one did suck.
They ruined that shit.
I'm a huge fan of Apocalypse. I got 2 of his action figures over there. One of which being the Age of Apocalypse one. Just plug myself real quick. But
yeah,
they watched that one big. I'm like, oh, they got a good actor and everything.
Right.
Made a great Moon Knight, but horrible Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Did Apocalypse justice in the animated series?
It's like, oh, a question came up about the 80s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It aged horribly as well as 2003 and 2012 versions. You know, especially 03.
I'll take the original comic version. They'll kick all their asses.
Damn.
Grimy, street level, inspired by Daredevil, actually. The Born Again, I want to say.
And I saw a video on that where the universes was tied. They said the
whole like scene with the when the bottle with the green ooze breaks, that whole scene was actually like drawn in a way where if you take that and line it up with one of the scenes from Daredevil, that it's actually happening at basically in that same universe.
Yeah.
It's kind
And
of
I thought
not
that was so dope.
like one of those
But
things.
I thought that was dope.
Yeah, that's ill.
That's a dope way that those two universes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another question said, I just want a legit adaptation of The Last Ronin.
Thank
Yeah. Yes.
Adaptation, grimy. I can't wait. They're working on a game for that, I guess, which is going to take a few years. But if they do that right, do it like, I guess it's from what I saw, it's going to be inspired by God of War. Which, if you think about it,
Ooh.
Last Ronin story would make sense because in God of War you have these different weapons that you use, and you can switch between that kind of change your fighting style. Well, in this, the one remaining turtle has all the different sets of weapons. So you could literally be switching between the 4 sets of weapons, and that's kind of how that could work, that gimmick. And then obviously they could add certain things that fit a ninja as opposed to
I can hear it now. Take this weapon, Kratos.
Yeah. Oh man.
Because I mean, you see, I'm ready right now. You see me.
Oh yeah, that's my guy.
I'm ready. I'm ready right now.
I'm holding out Ragnarok. I'm just like, I gotta wait till it's cheaper because I'm not getting. I have every God of War up until this point. Every single one of PSP, all of them. Like,
nice.
Them all. Love God of War. Like the most brutal, just unforgiving.
What do you want, boy?
The entire series, and I love what they did because I remember back in the day, I was like, imagine if like. Once Kratos is done killing these gods, he just jumps from religion to religion and just makes And then sure enough, this next one, all of a sudden he's in the Norse mythology. I'm like, yo, they're doing it.
Writers, are you listening?
Music.
Shaw needs a check.
Yo, thank you. I'm like, and then 30 years from now, we're going to get Kratos killing Jesus.
Oh my God.
We
gotta get there first society where, nobody will like cry too much about it. So we got to give it some time,
See, now we just angered a whole bunch of Christian groups right now. Blasphemy!
That's the natural progression. It wasn't my idea.
Oh, I mean, people was hating on Preacher when it came to TV.
True. Yeah, that's brutal.
I was trying
they made that happen too, so that's kind of wild.
To say that word around the campfire is the next segments of God of War are going to be in Egypt mythology.
That would be dope.
That would be dope, yeah.
Not confirmed, but they're basically saying that's what they want to do.
I guess Amazon is doing a God of War show as well.
Oh,
yeah.
It's interesting. I'm guessing it'll be based on the new games, more than likely.
Okay. Well, hey guys, it's about that time. We all got to get out of here. Before we go, let everybody know what we're doing. Brad, what you got going on?
You already know we got the Culture Corner going on.
Yes, sir.
Everybody go sub to the YouTube. Give us some love. Hip Hop Happy Hour podcast, as you can see behind me. Next week we got a Boston local, Purge. Shout out to Purge. Everybody from the local scene knows Purge. But we got some big names coming up. One I can actually tell you guys right now, we don't have a date nailed down yet, but Slane's going to be on the podcast, so that's pretty
nice.
That was a nice pull. Jesse's doing work. Behind the scenes. Well, other than that, we're going to keep running, making content for everybody, for the Culture Corner and for the YouTube, and keep it moving.
All right. Shaw, what you got popping, man?
Hey, same old. Go out there and stream that Dirty Elements album by myself, Mr. DL, and Dirt Russell. Dastardly Grin 2 coming soon. Got an album of my man Bofat out of Germany coming soon as well. International Dastardly. Be on the lookout for that. I'm going to be working on some content for the Culture Corner over here. We got some a gaming podcast that'll be coming out soon.
Nice.
Masters of the Gamerverse.
Yes.
So we'll be launching that very soon. Just working. Content, whether it be music, the podcasting world, all that. Let's get it done.
Yes, sir. And over to Kevin, the blind reviewer. What's happening, man?
I literally just shot the latest review, which is I kind of decided to switch it up a bit and do couple of throwback classic albums, and the first one is The Diamond by Scarface.
Classic.
Nice.
Rat-tat-tat till your ass hit the motherfucking flow.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And I'm gonna be kind of sprinkling them between now leading up to the hip hop anniversary in August.
August 11th, 1973.
So that's basically it as far as what the hell I'm doing. Trying to still get my eyesight.
That's what's up. And as for yours truly, my comic book is coming soon, May 18th.
Yes,
Go to the Culture Corner group. I'll post a QR code in there. It's going to go live. It's the characters I have is just all represented. There's everybody there. I'm not creating characters to please any group. It's just the world that I see outside my window, and that's the kind of comic books we need to have out here, reality based. I mean, there's going to be some superhero fantasy. There's going to be a little bit others, and everybody's going to be represented. It's the world I see, and that's why I call it Strange World Comics.
That's dope. Looking forward to reading that.
Yes, sir. So for everybody here at the Culture Corner, the Culture Cast, I'm sorry, it's culture. It's just culture all over the place. If everybody here at the Culture Cast, Brad Bailey, Shy Elemental, and the Blind Reviewer, Kevin Cooper. This is your boy Jeff Strange. Y'all stay strong. I'm gonna stay strange. Peace. We're out.
Bless up. Done. No.